Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for a brand new episode this week, where there's so much to cover now. When we were going to do the episode on Monday, we thought, right, we'll leave it to Wednesday, see if anything happens. And then just as I've been sitting here, everything's sort of been happening over the past few hours. We've got transfer rumours obviously to talk about, January transfer window. Cedric Itten is apparently back with Rangers, so we'll talk about that. Jermaine Defoe, his time's up at the club. He seems to be leaving. James Sands obviously signed last week. We'll give our thoughts on him. Any outgoings that are on the list as well, we'll give our thoughts. And then obviously the Aberdeen game, which is nice to actually talk about a football game coming up for once. No long to wait now, and it's been a long time coming. So all of that we'll be talking about today. And as always, if you could subscribe to the channel, it'd be very much appreciated. So first off, before we go into the transfer rumours, Joe Aribo, African Cup of Nations, again. How is this guy so good?
I mean, sensational. Everyone was building it up. Best player on the planet right now versus Nigeria. Well, I'm sorry, the best player on the planet plays for Nigeria, and he got the assist, and he was unlucky not to have another assist before the goal. And then after that, I'm not going to lie, Joe. Apparently, you've played an excellent game. I nodded off, son. I'm sorry, I nodded off, but it was nice to see him playing for his country. And as we say, wish him all the best, and hopefully Nigeria can bring the gold home.
Hopefully, or they just lose every one of their games and we get them back sooner. That's also the other thing.
This means a lot to Joe, so I hope he does the business and then he comes back here and he gets his trophies and his rewards for being probably the best player at Rangers this season.
Nah, well, he'll have a swagger on anyway if he's coming back for that with a winner's medal.
By the way, can we just say as well, if he wins that, think about the value that probably get added to him as well if he has an excellent tournament.
Well, after one game, look at the stuff that's on Twitter about him.
Exactly.
So aye, there's obviously that to look at as well. But aye, we wish Joe all the best, of course. With his time in Nigeria. On to the transfer news then. It's no signings have been made, obviously, apart from James Sands, but there's been a lot of rumours. The two prominent ones are Doki and Sutter. Apparently, we're front runners for Doki. I don't know. I want it to happen so badly, but I genuinely don't know if there's anything in it at all. It makes sense. Pre-contract, exciting defender. Dutch staff, obviously, at Rangers now could develop him into a better player. It all makes sense. It would be ideal, but nothing's actually came out that's concrete, I don't think.
Well, no, listen, that is one as we have been talking about that I kind of want to see happen. As I say, I like a big Dutch centre half, Jack. Sometimes you look at a player and you just go, he's a player. And I look at this guy, I think to myself, he's a player. I think he's been linked with it's PSV and all in it. So he's been linked with some...
PSV were in for him. I think Napoli might have been in for him as well. There's a few teams in for him. A few teams.
So I mean, there's some clubs in there after him, but it would be nice to have him at Ibrox, as you say, with the Dutch staff. Gio probably could develop him into a top player. So it would be nice to have him over. Obviously, the main one that we're really linked to, and it looks like it's probably going to happen, is a big man for Hearts. And
aye.
Let's make it happen, Jacko. Let's make it happen.
Aye, John Sutter, obviously, we didn't talk about that last week. I think it came out maybe later on during the week, but John Sutter looks to have made his mind up and he's going to be a Rangers player soon. I would like to hope, anyway. I've seen a lot of conversation on Twitter about it. People either not being happy about it or the opposite. People being buzzing about it. We can get a free transfer, best centre-half in the league this season, no question for me. He's obviously got injury issues and that he's hopefully going to have came past now. He's back in the Scotland squad. It's a good age. He's 25 and he can come into this Rangers team with ambitions of being a starter, playing European football. So it's a step up for him. But I don't get why some Rangers fans maybe don't want him. It's maybe just that way that he plays for a lesser team in the league. You don't really want to be growing about your league and all that, but we've seen it happen before. Glenn Kamara was a gem we found for Dundee. It can happen, and I feel like John Sutter, if he does sign for Rangers, whether that be a pre-contract or we do pay the fee and get him in January, it's going to be an addition to the squad. You've seen how light we are with defensive numbers. Calvin Bassey obviously filled in remarkably there, and he probably will continue to do so next week. But another option in there, and as good as John Sutter is, leaves our centre-half position is looking pretty stacked at the moment.
No, listen, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to say I could understand maybe why some Rangers fans would say I kind of don't know if I would want that guy. Obviously, with injuries, that's my big concern there. But as I say, beyond that, I can't really think.
The big thing is the injuries, aye.
It's the injuries. Is okay if we sing this guy, say that one thing happens and it turns into a situation maybe like Ryan Jack, where on his day he's a fantastic player, and probably one of the best in the country on his day, but the injuries are what's holding Ryan Jack back. So it might be the same with this guy, but for me, just that tackle on Lee Griffiths alone, let's just sign him.
Aye, that's honestly just play that. Just play Gio with
He's
that, and I think you'll sign him.
I like my centre halves coming in with a big kind of tackles, man. You've got to be a centre half, and you've got to do that for me. As I say,
he's good with the ball at his feet as well.
Exactly, so that's why Gio's going to want him as well. Do you know what I mean? Don't get us wrong. Nowadays with football, it's all about pass it. Do you know what I mean? It's like ping pong most of the time now. So obviously that's a massive part for him. Me, I like an old school centre half, as I say. Get up there, look to win the headers and what have you. And as I say, he's going to be an international for Scotland, definitely. Probably going to be the best defender at the back for Scotland, to be honest with you. No disrespect to Championship level. So it's definitely a player that I would want Rangers to sign, definitely.
It works in favour of all parties. We've been linked to him for years when he's been at Hearts. I mean, this rumour's always been about. But to get him in a pre-contract, maybe pay a minimal fee, few £100,000 to get him in now, it would be good.
Did we not do that for Scott Wright?
Aye, we've done that for Scott Wright. We've done it for Glenn Kamara as well. We just paid the extra compensation fee to just get him now, because the thing I'm seeing with Hearts fans on Twitter is no matter if it's John Sutter or if he's going to Rangers or Celtic, if they go to one of the Old Firm, Hearts fans immediately turn on the player, which I've seen already. It's quite good viewing actually to see them turn on him so much. So there's obviously that into the factor as well. If he's playing for 6 months at Hearts and the fans are on his back all the time, it's better just to get him in now.
Definitely better just to get him in the door straight away. You wouldn't want him getting abuse like that. But who else was it? I seen he was linked with, was it Sheffield and
Blackburn, I think maybe.
Blackburn Rovers is a good listen. I think they've been fantastic this season, and obviously they've got that Chilean boy up front that a certain club could use if they spent the dough, but we'll leave it at that. But no, definitely, as I say, it would be a fantastic signing. It's only going to benefit us massively in terms of, as we say, we've had a lot of defensive problems this season, so it'd be massive. It'd be a massive signing to him and potentially, hopefully, that Dutch boy. And I'd love to sign the two of them. And only can say we signing the two of them, Jack, is my boy's probably done at the club, and for me, that's a shame.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, if we're planning for our centre back, the way Gio would like to bring his own players in. Obviously, Hollander's still going to be at the club, but I would like to hope Hollander will be in the plans of Gio after his injury. Goldson, I think we've all sort of made up our mind that Goldson's going to be away, if not the end of this window, he's definitely going to be away in the summer. So we need to start planning ahead, getting these two in. If Doki comes in the summer, we've got him to come. But if Sutter comes in the now and he's obviously with the squad, it's been good for Scott Wright and Glenn Kamara to go through that route. But Niko Katic, I think, is the one that everybody, I think, thought, look, we've got a good centre half out there, but he's not really had a good time out in Croatia with Hadžić Split. I don't know if he's regularly playing, but still the mistake sort of ridden performances, I think, for Katic. He's not really built on what he's done with Rangers. At times he's shown he can be a good defender and that, but it does pain me to say, because I do rate the guy. I want to see him obviously make his mark after the injury, and because I still feel it would have been a big part of the team last season if he didn't get injured, which is the annoying thing. But injuries happen, players fall into place and you fall out of favour. So Niko Katic probably going to be out the door in the summer.
It's a shame, mate. Alison, how old is he?
I think he's maybe like 24, 25.
You don't give up on him. You don't give up on him. For me, I wouldn't give up on him. I love him. I just think he's a warrior, as you say. Obviously, he's got the Old Firm goal and everyone goes on about it. Fantastic goal, and it was a fantastic game, that game. But no, I wouldn't, as I say, the injuries, it's another one at the back. So I just don't want to give up the guy. I love the guy, man. I think he's a warrior, as you say. Can be inconsistent, but on his day when he performs, he's a fantastic centre half. And if it is probably the end of him, I mean, I'm only thinking that because that American boy got his number, so I'm making myself right.
No, obviously he can play at the back as well, so it's another option ahead of Katic when he comes back. So we'll see how that develops. I'd like to see John Sutter in, if not by the end of the window, the end of this week, hopefully. because I'd like to see him with the Rangers jersey on soon. It looks like it's going to happen. The next one, we've talked about it, Xavi Simons. Apparently we made an approach. Again, I don't believe anything I see on these Twitter reports. I just don't see any way that we can communicate with Mino Raiola and be able to pay the fee and the wages that Xavi Simons would want. I just don't. It would be wild if it happened, but I don't know. This one seems a bit less likely now.
Nah, I've never believed it for the start when everyone was going on about it. I'll be honest with you. It'd be, listen, everyone goes on about the guy. I don't know, is it because he's highly rated in FIFA? Obviously he is a decent. He's got to be a decent player, as I say, for the age he is, and to be in the PSG team. I think he came for the Barcelona academy as well, if I'm not too sure. So
he did.
I mean, you've got to be a decent player there, but I mean, he's getting games now, I think, because there's a lot of injuries there over at PSG, so I think he's playing. It's just one I've never believed for the start. And I mean, if he signed it, would have been a massive sign, a massive attempt for Rangers. I mean, you could draw him, I would say, with the Champions League. If you do get the Champions League football, we can say, look, listen, you'd still be playing Champions League, all right? Maybe if you don't rate the league and you don't kind of want to stand the freezing cold in December up at Pataudry or on a plastic park at Livingston, Champions League's there for you, buddy. But for me, it's never been one that I thought was going to happen. I'll tell you what one I think we're probably going to get on. I know what's happening with this boy, what's it, Bolivia or what have you? The Denmark, what's happening with this guy?
Skov Olsen. I think that's dead in the water, to be honest with you. I think that's pretty dead in the water. Well, Heart and Hand came out after we'd done the podcast last week, I think, after talking about it in length, and basically said Rangers had made no approach for Skov Olsen after us saying we've bid 5 million for him. So again, that's another reason why you just need to take everyone on Twitter with a grain of salt. But you listen to the frauds. Let's be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, you listen to that. I'm getting good quality knowledge from Fabrizio.
Aye, well, listen, I know the guys that know about the deals before he tweets about them 2 days later. They're on them straight away. So, no, I mean, whatever we said, as I said, what we said about him would have been a fantastic signing, regardless if it was to happen. I mean, as I said to you, similar in the Hadji position in terms of there's the quality there and the potential for the sell-on value. So, no, I think if
we're interested in him, it's going to be one in the summer that we'll maybe need to fork out money to actually go get him.
You don't want it to be similar to when he was going on about that Dutch boy and all.
Veerman. Again, we talked about it in the summer and that I genuinely never think we ever made contact to sign him. I think it was just rumours that were made up on Twitter again. You just need to be careful what you view and what you get interested in on Twitter, because
don't be like Jack and listen to frauds.
Nah, what? I'm getting my information all right, don't worry. And the next one that sort of came out of the blue was Benjamin Siegrist for Dundee United. Apparently looking to sign a pre-contract. Swiss goalkeeper, obviously. One of the top keepers in the league last season and continues to be, obviously, this season. I rate him. If we can get him in a pre-contract for free, he strengthens the squad. We need a goalie. I'm happy with that.
I mean, listen, as I said, mate, I watched him in that game against Celtic, and I tell you what, man, that guy he's a decent keeper, as I say. I think he has some. I like him as well. I think would be a good addition, as you say. The goalkeeper is definitely where we need to strengthen. I don't see Al McGregor playing next season. McLaughlin, I don't know if his contract comes to the end of the summer or whatever, but that's the position where there's going to be, I think, a lot of changes for Rangers. Maybe, you never know, a young Dutch goalkeeper coming over as well. But in terms of somebody that knows the league, he knows what he's going to be involved in. Maybe no European football wise. I don't know if he's ever played European football, but
no,
that could probably do a decent job for Rangers.
I personally think so. I think it would be a good acquisition to make. Obviously, he probably will have aspirations of making the Switzerland national team, and with Rangers, you're going to get obviously more exposure if you're playing in Europe and that. You're going to get on that. You're going to go on that radar, so could be a good move for him as well. He's only 29, so.
29. I mean, for a goalkeeper, that's nothing. That's nothing. As you see, goalkeepers can play until 40. So,
exactly, I know. Goalkeepers, it's an age. Like, you could sign a goalie at 37-year-old and you'd have him for 4 years.
Exactly. There's one for me that everyone keeps bringing up, and I keep saying to myself, no, you're all right. See, when if they brings up the Real signing Xander Cartland, this guy, I'm like, no, I'm sorry.
Nah.
I'm all right.
I don't want to go back down that route of signing people just because they're Rangers fans. Like we've been there, it doesn't work. We signed Jason Cummings, Jamie Murphy, Russell Martin, Dorrans and all that just because they're Rangers fans. It just doesn't work.
Well, I mean, let's not mention Russell Martin, mate. That was a Tory.
But that's all the sort of folk I think we've been linked with, we've covered. And then Cedric Itten, you could maybe call him a new signing, but Cedric Itten's back in Glasgow. He's going to be continuing the season with Rangers. I wouldn't say he had a bad loan spell over in Germany, but he scored against Bayern Munich. He scored against 2 goals I think he got in the league, but he's playing with a relegation threatened team. Like, I think they've won 1 game all season. Like, if we're wanting a guy to develop like Cedric Itten, like, apparently one of the most promising that we've got in the forward area, we want to go play and build confidence. We don't want to be down the bottom of the league and scraping by to try and get a start or a goal or whatever. So makes good sense to bring him over, even if he's not getting much game time. 6 months, Gio will be able to look at him, the staff will be able to look at him, see if he's up to scratch, hopefully get some games. Again, that's still an Albion Cup games coming up. I think he'll be involved with that. So I'm excited by it. I was always a guy, and you be yourself, that really rated Cedric Itten and didn't feel like he got a fair chance. So maybe under Giovanni's system, it could work out for him.
I definitely think he'll definitely get games for Giovanni. As I said when he got loaned out, I don't know who came up with a loan for him to go there, because, as I said at the time, you want him to go to a place where they're winning, they're dominating, they're doing what we're trying to do. And for him, as you say, confidence-wise, mentally, that's not going to benefit him being in a relegation kind of battle team. Obviously, getting a goal into Bayern Munich, that's a proud moment, I would say, definitely. You scored against, the team that are absolutely dominating German football. So,
no.
That aside, I think it's fantastic to have him back over, get his confidence back up. Hopefully, he's fit and he's ready to go. And I definitely do feel Gio will play him, because the other man that we're probably going to talk about definitely is gone. It just makes sense to me that you bring somebody like Cedric back.
And you've obviously got Roof. He's injured constantly. But
I'm loving
Roof, but it's another option.
I'm loving the videos on the Instagram with the dogs, the wee short stories of his dogs. I seen the one the day where he was out, I don't know, in his back garden, what have you, dog just barking at him. So I'm loving my man Kemar just posting his dogs.
That's what he loves to do. He's always rely on Roof to get you a video on social media. But Jermaine Defoe is that man who looks like his time's up at Ibrox. Obviously, this season he get the 1 year contract with a player role, coach role. Didn't really work out in that way either. Gerrard obviously left. He then get demoted down to a player. I think we were at the Livingston game. That was the only time he's played under Van Bronckhorst. And it was never really going to happen. Too many players were even missing out on the bench for Defoe to get on the bench. So it'll be sad to see him go. He's a good pro. A guy I really liked seeing at Ibrox. Obviously one of the top strikers of the Premier League era when we were growing up and all that. So to see him play for Rangers, to see him fall in love with the club, and obviously scoring a barrel of goals as well. I think it was 40, nearly 50 goals he scored in his time at Rangers, which is mental considering we signed him when he was like 37. So all the best, obviously, to Jermaine Defoe, whatever he gets up with.
I'm just going to add to something you should have said and all back in the day. If you were looking for a cheap, affordable striker on Ultimate Team for FIFA, Defoe was your guy. Bag you like 20 a season, I'm telling you. But no, absolutely. The guy came up and did what he said he was going to do. He brought the trophy back. He brought it home. Some of the goals he scored last season, that ball that get played in the wee nice pass in, the Aberdeen, the Celtic goals, fantastic. I stood up when he scored that one at home against Aberdeen. And the same with the Celtic one, I stood up and I thought, how did he do that? How did he? So, for me,
he's a classy player. With the goals he scored, even in his sort of end of his career as well, 38, 39-year-old, that one against Livingston, still probably, even though I wasn't in the stadium, is one of the best goals I think I've ever seen by anybody at Ibrox. That takes some skill to be able to do. And Jermaine Defoe is a guy that possesses that.
sometime I can show you how to do that, Jack, because I can do that as well, mate. So,
I'll take you up on that offer, then I'll see that soon if you're in.
Coming back to Defoe, as I say, did what he set out to do. He brought the trophy home. Absolutely a top-class professional, and showing that, all right, I don't get all the minutes, but when I do get them, I'm going to make them. Like, when you need a goal, you go, right, cool, sling him on. It's the same with Kemar right now. Sling him on, he'll get us a goal. For me, as I say, his time at the club, he was fantastic. And his interview after winning 55, you could just tell how much he really did fall in love with the club. And that he wanted to obviously finish his career in front of the Ibrox fans, which it would have been nice to do. But I just think since his wee pal left, I couldn't see Gio doing that. I know it's different management. I don't think Gio's get the. I don't want to say he's not get the time. I think he would understand. I just think Gio's get different plans. And
Gio's basically he's got no friends in there. Whereas Steven Gerrard did. Defoe was one of them. Like, Gio won't look at that and be like, "You're costing me so much wages. I'll get rid of you."
Exactly, because he's here to do a job at the end of the day. Gio's here to do a job. He's here to bring the trophies in. But as I say, not a bad word about Jermaine Defoe. Obviously, maybe when he started punting, you were thinking yourself, what is this? Are we getting mugged off here? I just thought to myself as well, how serious are you about coaching? But I guess you can't really say stuff like that at the moment, I guess. We'll find out due in time. But as I say, the guy goes with all the best wishes. He was a top pro. And somebody, as you said, for his age, he came up here and scored as many goals as he did. It's fantastic. And he is a player, as I say, that we all fell in love with. So he goes with all the best wishes. This is Defoe, as I say, top class.
Nah,
On
top
field
class.
as well.
I think that's the perfect, just the words to describe Defoe as top class. He's, in every respect, like Stephen Davis, just a top professional, just a top guy to have around the club now. But he will be missed, obviously, for that. And then next on to James Sands. Then it was confirmed, obviously, that he's joined Rangers 18-month loan deal to make it permanent in the summer if we want to. It excites me, this one. I watched these interviews and I watched them going around the training ground at Ibrox. Now he looks confident for him being the same age as me and you as well, coming over from America with nobody like yourself, a new club, a massive expectation. It's going to be big for the guy. But watching him go around meeting the players and all that, meeting with the manager and watching his interview, he seems like he is ready and up for it. And I'm excited to see, obviously, coming in for that sort of City group that Van Bronckhorst work with. I'm excited to explore that market and see if it works out for us.
God save America, bro.
Yeah, I've Scott Arfield already, I know.
What a dafty, honestly. See, when I watched that and then he hangs with Balogun and Ryan. How awkward is Ryan Kent?
Yeah,
he does a handshake with Balogun and then he shakes his hand and he's like,
nice.
Okay, the other guy, and I'm like, what are you doing?
He's a weird character.
Honestly, Scotty Arfield, some man. Honestly, no, this guy does excite me, as I say. He does look like a real player, and as you say, our age is over here by himself. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, Jack. Have a good time, lad. That's all I'll say. But no, he definitely looks like a top player, and I'm excited that he can play multiple positions, as you say. Somebody maybe Gio has probably worked with and probably watched, coming for that New York sort of kind of academy over there in the MLS and progressing through. So it's nice to see us signing Americas again. God save America and all that part of them. So no, I'm looking forward to see him. As you say, it looked all right. It was quite good with Jimmy Bell, obviously being here for a week.
No, you guys mental, but it's an exciting signing. You can play multiple positions. Obviously, that's maybe a good thing for the way the world is with COVID. You need to, if players are going to be missing out with positive and tests and that, like, you need to have players that can step in and play multiple positions. I think that's maybe a good way the Geo's looked at it as well.
I know. I was just about to say, I don't think you could do a documentary, Jack. I know we were wanting to let an Amazon kind of style documentary. Don't think you could do it with Jimmy Bell mugging every 5 minutes like that. What are you doing? So, no, as you say, he can play multiple positions. I'm excited to see the guy. I do think he's another one that's going to be a top player. I watch these, as I say, they all do it, don't they, nowadays, with the whole Instagram and the Drake music playing and them showing their best moments. I'm looking for, it was a tune that he picked. I can't remember the name of the song. I've been trying to remember it, but I can't. But no, putting some tackles in. He looks like a decent player anyway, and I look forward to seeing him play. He might play the cup game coming up. You never know. It'd be nice to see.
I would like to see that'll probably happen, to be honest with you. He'll get minutes. He'll probably get his first start actually in that cup game, which will be exciting, obviously, with fans going back as well. Would you say that?
Aye. Is that who you've gone for your prediction with the team lineup? Aye.
Well, obviously, we'll talk about that next week when that comes around. But I do think he will start the game. And then, obviously, if we're bringing players in, if we're bringing Cedric Itten back, it obviously means more outgoings. Defoe, obviously, we all expected some more outings. Brandon Barker, how has he survived this long? He's been at the club nearly 3 years now. How? Jake Hasty, another one that was signed same time as Brandon Barker, looked decent at Motherwell, and you would write young talent for the league. I don't think he's even made a league appearance yet. Need to get rid of him. Stephen Kelly, who I think we all expected to see in and around the squad, is probably going to go out on loan.
No, hang on a minute. Do not lump Stephen Kelly in there with the duds, all right?
I need to talk about who's going to leave.
No, I know. He's more likely to go out on loan, but I'm just saying, do not lump him in there with the duds. And I'll tell you something, I did a career mode the other night there with Brandon Barker, and he happily won us 56, 30 odd.
Well, I've always backed the guy myself, aye.
Aye, listen, you need to get rid of players like that now. Maybe when Gerrard was there, it might have been a bit of I just keep them for squad thing, mate. With Gio, I'm hoping it's a bit like, how with the scene with chessboards and he just goes, nope, all these
Aye.
go. I definitely need to get rid of them, as I say that. Boy, we signed for Motherwell was about pace. That was about it. The only thing
I mean, he looked all right in flashes, but then again,
what is he doing now? Partick Thistle, isn't it?
aye, but then he get his loan cut short for Partick Thistle and he's now with the B team at Rangers. So it's just one of them. You just need to cut ties, just get rid of these players. Stephen Kelly obviously might be one for the future, but
did we not pay $1 million for him?
I don't know if we actually paid any money for him. Actually, we got him in the summer. I don't know if there was a fee involved. Couldn't tell you at all. I forgot he even played with Rangers till I was looking through the squad. Like, just never ever made an appearance. He's always out on loan. So, Stephen Kelly, most likely, as we say, loan. Robbie McCrory, I think, again, give him a loan for 6 months.
But how many times can you actually loan that guy out, man? He said
it's going to be better for him though. I feel to play if he's got plans and Gio's got plans of bringing him back and being one of the top keepers at Rangers after this season, he needs to go out and play games. And it'd probably be better for him to go out and do that, even if it is Championship. Anywhere else in the Prem.
I'd put him in as a cup keeper.
But then John McLaughlin for that, so
I know. But then I'm thinking to myself, but I don't know, man. It's crazy, as I say, this young man should be playing for me. I mean,
I think next season he will definitely make his mark. It's all going to lie on Al McGregor. Obviously, it's his last season probably, so.
You never, well, you say that, what if we win it, do you know what I mean? He's like, I'll stay for our two.
You never know. But I think maybe a loan would be good for him.
Maybe a loan is probably what he needs, as I say. I don't know. I kind of would prefer him to stay and be the third choice keeper and just get things into the squad. You never know. Injuries could happen as well with goalkeepers.
You're right.
You never know. So, aye.
Jack Simpson obviously has to leave the club.
Aye, let him go.
Middlesbrough have seen are interested in him, so he has to go. Just take him. The last one I have seen rumours of, and it's breaking my heart a wee bit. John Lundstrom is possibly going to leave the club on loan to Middlesbrough, or if the club can obviously recoup a fee, they'll look to do that as well. I think because Lundstrom's on mental wages apparently, as you would expect, Premier League player and that when we signed him. I just don't know if Gio fancies him that much. And obviously the wage, it's a big wage. He's maybe want to cut that down if he's not going to play him. So it's going to be one to look at. I don't want to lose Lundstrom, obviously, but it might happen.
But I'm telling you right now, he doesn't get a game under Gio now. I don't see it. Gio's only brought him on, I think, for like a sub just to
I think he started the Dundee United game. He started the Leon game. And then every other one's been a sub appearance. You're right.
Aye, right. Well, so I don't know. You said that his interview at the time when he first signed for the club, he came up because he was also a Liverpool fan, and what obviously Gerrard means to Liverpool, so obviously signed there. And it's let's be honest. I mean, if he's getting mental wages, and that's on the club shouldn't have signed him in the first place if he's on mental wages. As I say, I think about that midfield. There's no chance Kamara and Aribo are getting dropped unless
there's literally no way.
Sadly, if that thing, if you sign that American boy in there, I can see him coming into the middle of the park. Maybe you've got Stephen Davis there, who's on the bench now, which is crazy to say. I really don't see him getting.
You've got Arfield, Jack, Hadji, Bakuna. You've got all of these midfielders. Surely you need to cut one of them out.
That's what I'm saying. Like if he's on mental wages and they're thinking themselves, right, we'll just keep him to Middlesbrough on loan. Obviously, experience with Chris Wilder before. I mean, it's not one.
It makes sense, but I wouldn't like it to happen.
I don't want to lose him because, as you say, mate, when he's performed, man, he's looked like a real top player. As you say, obviously at the start, fans were on his back straight away, but I think he's proved us wrong. And as I say, he looks like a top player. It's just maybe he doesn't fit into what Gio wants, and that sometimes happens.
Exactly, like, new manager and all that. It could happen. Maybe one I expect, but I'm expecting outgoings within obviously the end of the window. I think the majority of the players might be featured in that. It'd be surprising if anybody else didn't mention had to leave, but that's that. And then on to the Aberdeen game, obviously. Football, finally, we can talk about football coming back. It's been a long 3 weeks since obviously that international break. No, the winter shutdown, sorry.
Hang on a minute, you're about to do this. I'll add to this Zoom call my good friend Dwayne Johnson to come in and do the intro if you would. No, only joking.
Aye, finally. Sorry, football is back. And be fans, obviously, we got that announcement yesterday. There's going to be full crowds back at the games, which should never have even been taken away, but they're back anyway, which is the main thing. And it's a tough first game to have back. Aberdeen away, obviously, they try to disturb whatever we're doing all the time. They'll play the hardest they'll ever play this season against us. So it's going to be a tough game. We need to go and we need to get 3 points to start off obviously the restart well. And it's annoying that winter break came at the time it did because we were just on form. We were dismantling teams, and I feel if we went on the way we did, I think we would have dismantled Aberdeen. We were meant to play them, but it's a different ball game now. Everybody's had the chance to sort of recharge the batteries, get players back. So it'll be interesting. What's your thoughts on Aberdeen this season?
Woeful. I don't even know where they are in the league. I don't know,
6th or 7th, I think.
They're fighting to stay in the league. Listen, I obviously don't watch Aberdeen. Thing as I say, I've only watched them when they've played us, and obviously when they played us just after what sadly passed, wasn't the best game. That was woeful, that performance. I think about that, but no, usually when we get up there, I don't think we get a wee decent game, as you say. Quite a lot of rough tackles in there sometimes. Some beautiful goals have been scored up at Pittodrie for us. So I think, as I say, I think it's mostly about recharging the batteries, as you said there. It was mostly about getting players back, as you say, people like Hollander, players that have been missing, just get those issues. I need players coming in as well. So is there not something going on? I don't know if it's just in up here maybe, but like they're trying to stop January signings for playing. I'd seen something, I can't remember what it was, but it was something like
I know what you're talking about, but I didn't read into it too much.
Well, I'd seen that and I thought that was ridiculous. That's so stupid. But as I say, it's a chance to get people into the squad, maybe give them minutes, let them know what the league's like. We just hope Ryan Kent turns up and does a masterclass away to Pittodrie again.
Nah, this is it. And on to the team, which I think hopefully everybody's fit and available, will start. McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson. Although you're saying Hollander will probably be back, I do believe Bassey will keep his position in there. Barisic, Kamara, Arfield, and obviously this is the big talking point. Aribo's not going to be there, so I think Hadji is looking like the more likely sort of inclusion. We've obviously seen him in there in the middle. What game was that? Was that the St Mirren game? He played in the middle, so maybe Gio was actually thinking, Aribo's not going to be here, so maybe try something out for the future. I can't think of anybody else that would come in. I don't feel Davis is going to come in. Arfield will start probably. Hadji sort of gives you what Aribo does with it going forward. Obviously, it'd be nice to see Bakuna as well. I think the two, Hadji or Bakuna, if any of the two of them are a good replacement for Aribo at the moment. And then the front three, Kent, Morelos and Scott Wright, I feel keeps his place, going back to his former club as well. Be nice to see him grab a goal up there. So that's how I see us really lining up, albeit everybody's fit and available.
No arguments here, mate. I can probably see that being the team. Maybe Fashion comes in, you never know.
With the way we've liked to play away from home against sort of the bigger sides, Hearts and that, I liked Sakala, Morelos and Kent, to be honest with you.
I know, we could see that, but obviously mentally as well, psychologically, maybe play Scotty Wright just to get in their heads, you know what I mean? I don't know. You never know. I like the sound of that thing, as I say. It would be nice to see Bakuna come on. I'm just waiting for the game. Just waiting for it. Just
I know, we've got
long time. Been a long time.
6 days or so now. Aye.
6 days.
No long to wait now, but aye, it was nice to actually talk about a game again, and we'll obviously give our opinions on that on the next episode for when this game comes around, which is going to be good to actually start talking about games in more length and detail again, get the show back in the road. But to finish up, the Greg Stewart, he won the Player of the Month.
Whoa, why? Before we get to the boy, the main reason why me and you do this podcast, big shout out to Alfie as well.
No, of course, there's been so much to talk about, I forgot about that.
Ronaldo don't know what's coming. Alfie is working on them abs. Do you understand what that means?
Yeah, well, the first Player of the Month, obviously, Morelos, backed himself as he looks, scoring more goals, bullying defenders, exactly what we expected with a new manager coming in, and it's had a positive impact on Morelos getting Player of the Month. So I'm happy that he got that award. Happier though that Greg Stewart got his award. because he's turning it on in India. Like, as we speak about every week, he's like God over there. Apparently, 5 goals, 6 assists. I think it was yesterday or the last game they played. They won 1-0. He assisted the goal again and got man of the match. So you just can't deal with Greg Stewart.
Listen, fantastic. I don't know why clubs over here aren't looking to bring him back. And I mean, if you're needing a striker, you need somebody to do the business. There is the best player in India doing the job, doing the business. Greggy Stewart. I mean, I still can't get over some of the goals he's scored, by the way, over there. I'm sorry. Phenomenal.
Mental, aye. Absolutely crazy.
I was watching, what was it, before we started the podcast, obviously the highlights of it. When we signed the phone, all that, it was against Hamilton. Greggy Stewart and the full linking up. So I'm just saying, my boy. It would be nice to see Greggy Stewart back over here. I just honestly, what a guy, man.
I just like seeing him doing well. To be honest with you,
as we said at the time, man. If you could swap West Wembley when we were running 55, it was Greggy Stewart. Do you know what I mean? Go watch Rangers play, then go to the golf park or play snooker. That's what we're talking about.
And getting a good wage for it as well. So can't complain with that. But I think is that everything for this week. We've talked about like everything this episode. Can't even think. Obviously, I nearly forgot about Morelos, player of the month there. But,
I was going to also mention, I think it was on Monday I'd seen as well. It was like on this day sort of kind of thing where Walter Smith had obviously came back to the club.
I did see that as well. Aye.
So I mean, thanks for the memories, as we always say. But
aye,
it's crazy. It's crazy, as I say to you, Jack. It's crazy how time flies. You see, obviously, getting your predictions for the team for the Aberdeen game. I'll probably talk more about the Aberdeen game, mate, when we play them. As I say, they've looked woe for it. If it was any other season, Stephen Grass, I think he'd probably be sacked.
Aye.
You get their ex-manager down there in the Championship talking about challenging for European football when they're not even in the league. So, aye, but as I say, Greggy Stewart for the win.
That's what it is. I'm glad we're back, obviously, talking about games that are coming up. I can't wait to obviously be back in the ground again, get the Aberdeen game on the way, and hopefully start going towards a league title at the end of the year. So that was the episode this week. If you did enjoy it, if you could like, subscribe and share it about for us, that'd be very much appreciated. And we'll see you next week with another episode. Cheers.